Hello, welcome to episode 4 of the Jordan Warburton Occurrence. Thank you to everyone who's been patient waiting for the next episode. Life's been a bit busy. I haven't really had a chance to record a mini episode. And I definitely haven't had time to get a guest in. So, on a more positive note, me and my first guest have figured out what topic we're going to get. It's going to be a tough one to talk about, but it's going to be really good and important to how to tackle this topic. But, on other news, it's the first episode I'm actually recording on my phone. Nothing fancy, it's literally on a box pointed at me with some lights here and a spaceman beer. So it's a start. It'll get better if I can figure it out and get a bit more technical with it. But let's get into it. So got a free hour this evening and it's been something on my mind the past couple of days. And it's got me really thinking about how this applies to not just me, but most people in our modern day society. It's something I've just personally been referring to as the 90-10 syndrome. I don't actually know if it's a real thing or if it's actually got a real name for it. So if it is, then feel free to connect me across all the social media or comments or just DM me straight away. I can look into it a bit further then and I'll have a bit more knowledge next time if it comes up. So, to start, what is this 90-10 syndrome I'm talking about? My description of it is, even though we may have 90% of what we want in the current moment, we currently focus on the 10% we don't have. And I've been a victim of this mentality so many times, so I've been really thinking about it the last few days. So, for example, I'm in a fortunate position to be able to afford to live in a place of my own where me and my kids can call home. But I'm sort of constantly criticising myself for not having a bigger house or a nicer layout or nicer TV. And it's just to dwell on the financial aspect of my life. It also filters into things like being a father, where this is where I'm probably the most self-critical of myself. But even if I get it right 90% of the time, I will focus on that 10% and really criticise myself on what I did wrong. And in my opinion, this is such a negative approach to anything in your life, really. And just thinking about it, I'm starting to think of ways where I can do better and focus more on the positives in my life. And I guess be a bit more kind to myself, which is something I think we all need to learn, is just be kinder to ourselves. Because I know I'm guilty of doing this too. I know sometimes I put expectations on myself that I'd never expect anyone else to be able to do. So why do I do it to myself? Maybe it's a deep-rooted issue, or maybe it's just a personality flaw. Maybe somebody smarter than me can tell me. So I thought of other examples where the thinking behind these patterns revolve around social media. I know I've sat there doom scrolling, seeing someone get a new car and thinking, oh, wish I was in a position to buy a new car for myself. When I have no idea how hard this person might have worked or how long I've been saving for to get this car. And I think that's part of the modern age. We're all guilty of this. And in this constant cycle of comparison of everything and everyone around us. And I think that's because of the accessibility to see these glimpses of people's lives. And we all know deep down it's not the full representation of their life or what's going on. And I think we need to take that step back sometimes and just remind ourselves it's just that small snippet. They might just be showing off. They got every right to show off when they're happy about something. And then this leads into the next bit, where the age-old saying goes, comparison is the thief of joy, which is always going to be true, no matter how much time passes, no matter how much things change, comparison is the thief of joy. So, what's the answer? How do we stop approaching life without looking at the 10% of things we don't have or the 10% of things we don't do right? How do we stop this constant comparison of other people's lives? I think these two go hand in hand together in why we may have this negative cycle on life and the world around us. And I'm not an expert by any means, but I think the first step is to look inward and ask ourselves tough questions like, why am I focusing on what I didn't do and not being thankful for everything I did do? I think we need to approach our daily lives with a bit more focus on everything we manage to get done, despite having to go to work an extra 10 minutes, despite my kids might want 3 different meals because nobody wants the same thing. And it's not an easy shift to have when it becomes increasingly difficult to not compare yourself to someone else. So how do we counteract being in such a position or we constantly feel like we're not doing so well? Well, the easy answer, come away from social media. But let's be honest with ourselves, social media is such a normal thing in our lives now, and people like me, guilty of doing this, using social media to promote themselves or the business. And it's an effective tool to get things out there. So I don't think stepping away is the real answer here. But I think something simple but really effective is set yourself screen time limits for platforms that put that negative taste in your mouth, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter /X, whatever it's called. And don't set your own password. Give it to somebody else to set. And then once your time's up, that's a lot for the day. You've had your 10 minutes, 30 minutes, however long you think you can cope with, and you move on with your life. And it's another one. It may sound stupid at first, but it's something I've done over the years when I've felt like social media's getting me down too much. And it's just delete the apps. Log in using your phone browser. Once you're done, log out. And you'd be surprised not having the app on your phone where you can just go click, scroll, and then when you've seen your 342 memes and 92 selfies that you've probably seen before. But realistically, I don't really know a good proper answer to solve these issues other than instead of focusing on the 10%, we should reflect inwards on why we feel we need to approach life this way. And I think it's the first thing to do. It's just these baby steps. It's not something you can flick a switch and be like, I'm a positive person now. You need to work on that and how you see the world. And this world's filled with negativity massively, whether it's just news cycles with clickbaity headlines, because the negative clickbaity headlines are the ones that seem to get more clicks. Then there might be some amazing story like somebody helped save somebody's life, but because it won't get enough clicks, they didn't even post it, or it's on the bottom of the page. And we should all be celebrating things like that. And basically the goal of this podcast today is just if I can get one person to think about this and try to make some changes in their mentality and how they approach these sort of difficulties in their life, or mentality should I say, then the entire podcast is worth it. Obviously I hope more than one person does take the steps to reflect on approach things from a more positive angle and focus on that 90% rather than that bad 10%. Because, let's be honest, we can do with more positivity in the world. I don't think there's any such thing as too much positivity. So, last couple of episodes, I've been asking myself a thought-provoking question. But today I'm going to do something a little bit different. Instead of asking me, I'm going to throw it to you, the listeners, because I just love to engage on this sort of level and talk about why you may feel that way. But that being said, here's today's thought-provoking question. What's your deepest regret, and what can or have you done to forgive yourself for it? And I know might bring out some personal things and you may not want to comment or leave it public, but message me directly, we talk about it. I might be able to help you on that forgiveness, that path to forgiveness. And that's where I'd really just make sure we're all doing the bits so we can to help each other be better human beings for ourselves, each other, and most importantly, the next generation, and pass the wisdom we gained along the way onto them as well, so they can live better, freer lives and focus on this negative aspect. So I think this is where I end this episode, because I feel like it's a good time to end. You've got your thought-provoking questions, and have a good think about it, get back to me. So thank you for taking the time to listen today. Hope you all enjoyed. So I'll catch you on the next episode with Joe Morgan and the Curve.